Post-impressionism characteristics. Post-impressionism characteristics can differ because the artists who originated the techniques involved with post-impressionism did not work together. Still, there are few defining characteristics that make up the art form. All forms of post-impressionist painting have three characteristics in common. First is subjectivity, second, real-life subject matter, and third, manipulation of color or geometric design. So, subjective nature, one of the biggest changes post-impressionism made to impressionism is intention. While impressionist painters attempted to represent the world as it appeared to them, post-impressionists added the interpretation and reflection of the artist into the painting. The subjectivity of post-impressionist art is what sets it apart from the other art forms of the 19th century. And second, real-life subject matter. Post-impressionism is like impressionism as it relates to subject matter. Both art styles aim to represent the real world in one way or another. Every post-impressionist painting uses real-life subject matter, meaning images seen by the eyes of the painter. Where post-impressionism varies is in its mode of real-world representation. The artists involved with post-impressionism do not simply portray the world as if taking a photograph. They add interpretation and emotion to the scene or figure via color, shape, and form. And lastly, manipulation of color or geometric design. Post-impressionists extended impressionism while rejecting its limitations. They continued using vivid colors, sometimes using impasto or thick application of paint and painting from life, but were more inclined to emphasize geometric forms, disturb form for expressive effect, and use unnatural or modified color. So, what is the importance of post-impressionism? Post-impressionism art movement, like the impressionism, is considered to be one of the earliest avant-garde movements of the 19th century. The concerns of the major and most influential painters and sculptors that helped to create the impressionism style produced the works that focus on the investigation of the perception of the eye, the presentation of the shifting nature of light, and the depictions of the everyday life in the streets, parks, cafes, and bars. But what is post-impressionism? Following from the predecessors of the Impressionism movement, post-impressionism was the next generation of the avant-garde artists that took a variety of different approaches. But what glued them together was the rejection of the focus on the opticality of the Impressionism movement, emerging as a reaction against the Impressionists' concern for the naturalistic depiction of light and color. Post-impressionists fought to bring back the focus on the subject matter and the structure and paintings that they felt was lost, dominated by the immense personalities such as Paul Gauguin, Paul Cézanne, and George Seurat, Vincent van Gogh, and Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. The post-impressionists took different approaches and continued building on the advances of the previous art movement.